Julia Hanigsberg is President and CEO of Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital, Canada's largest pediatric rehab hospital and an academic health science centre fully affiliated with the University of Toronto. Julia has spent her career in government, post-secondary education, and healthcare as a champion for cultural transformation, innovation, and social justice. She's a two-time Women's Executive Network Top 100 Most Powerful Women honoree. Julia is an alum from McGill and Columbia Universities. She has held Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council of Canada and Fulbright Fellowships. Julia serves on numerous volunteer boards as chair of the Council of Academic Hospitals of Network of Ontario and on the boards of Children's Healthcare Canada, Kids Brain Health Network, and the Solutions for Kids in Pain Network. In addition, she serves on the CEO committee of the Toronto Academic Health Science Network, the Executive Advisory Board of First Robotics Canada, and the First Robotics Girls in STEM Advisory Group. Needless to say, Julia is highly accomplished as a leader and an inspiration for us all. We are so excited to have you here. It's an honor. Welcome, Julia.
Oh, thank you so much, and thank you for the introduction. It's just great to be here.
Let's kick it off with an easy question, Julia. Tell us a little bit about your career trajectory.
So I'm trained as a lawyer. I started off the first almost decade of my career working in public policy with the Government of Ontario. I did a bunch of different jobs, including as the Chief of Staff to a Cabinet Minister. In the second part of my career, I was at Ryerson University and again did a couple of different jobs there, ending up as Vice President, Administration and Finance. And then finally, the past almost 6 years, I've been here at Holland Bloorview Kids Rehabilitation Hospital as the President and CEO. So 3 kind of distinct chunks, all quite different roles, and frankly, all quite different than the education I started with.
Wow, thanks for sharing that. So in my mind, it really demonstrates the benefits of taking cautious risks in your career and also highlights the values of being so resilient, even in unfamiliar territories until you're successful. So, but we all know that behind every success, there's a little bit of sacrifice. So let me ask you this. What kind of sacrifices did you have to make to turn your aspiration into action?
This is a great question. I mean, I think you talk about cautious risks, and maybe I'll go there first and then remind me to come back to sacrifices. I think that I'm inherently a very curious person. So taking on new things where I can learn, has always appealed to me. But I think what you describe sometimes is called fake it till you make it. And I think it's true. I think having that opportunity to take on something new, you may not know everything you need to know, but to figure out how to learn what you need to learn and then to go for it is really what makes all the difference.
So I'm curious, based on your experiences, what are some of the tips and tricks that you'd like to share with us today for women who have to balance personal and professional lives?
So, it's a tough thing, of course, because there's no such thing as perfect balance. And I think sometimes when we talk about balance, it actually sets us up for failure. I don't know about you. I also have 3 children. When my children were younger, they never wanted 50% of me. They wanted 100% of me, and work mostly wanted 100% of me. So it was never particularly balanced, and balance wouldn't have satisfied either side of the equation. But a couple of things I can offer from my experience. One is there's an expression from Sheryl Sandberg's book, Lean In, that always really stuck with me, and that's don't leave until you leave. And sometimes I notice women start to pull back in anticipation of challenges or in anticipation of conflict, and they don't really take advantage of the full opportunity before they do that. And, I have an example from my own life where I was offered a great opportunity, and I was early in my second pregnancy before I'd even told anybody I was pregnant. And right away I said no. And luckily I had a sponsor, a mentor who said, "Are you sure you want to say no?" and convinced me that even though I was pregnant, even though I wouldn't be able to stay in the job for too long, it was worth taking it on for the experience I was going to get for that period of time. And I did that, and it made a huge difference to my career. So I think we sometimes make the mistake of pulling back before we have to. So that's one idea. Lots more things that we could talk about on the front of work-life balance. And one of the things that I think is so important, especially if you're balancing parenthood with your career, is your life partner and the choices you make together and the support that you provide to each other. And I can say that in my life, my career wouldn't have been possible if I didn't have a husband who was 100% an equal partner in parenting. And that meant that sometimes he was doing 90% of it, and other times I was doing my fair share. But that was the only way that I could have combined having 3 children, including a set of twins, and the career that I've been able to have.
Wow, that's amazing. How about maybe tap into how you felt your sponsors and mentors helped you navigate through that? How about women helping other women?
Yeah, so I've been fortunate to have, great mentors, and to be honest, not all of them have been women. Some of the single most impactful bosses that I've had in my life have been men who've given me great opportunities. And but I also have had women who I think have had particular insights into the challenges of balancing, and who have also stepped, right in front of me to say, "Hey, you can do this." And given me the confidence, especially earlier in my career where I was less confident maybe to stick my neck out, or less confident to take on a challenge that I wasn't 100% sure that I was qualified for. And I'll tell you another story. When my twins were just tiny babies and I was still on maternity leave, I got a call from the Secretary of Cabinet, who's the most senior civil servant in the Ontario government, offering me a job in her office. And I had baby twins, I had a 4-year-old, and I said no. I said, I can't possibly imagine coming and doing this job with this little young family. And I got off the phone with her, and about 10 minutes later, one of her staff, someone who had been a mentor of mine, called me and said, "You can't say no to this job. This is a great opportunity for you. So guess what? I'm going to give you a chance for a redo. Have a cup of coffee, take a shower, do whatever you have to do to get your head in the game. She's going to call you back." And she did. And I said yes. And she said, "Look, I've got a big team that works for me." In that case, she said, "I've got about 10,000 lawyers who work for me. If you have to leave at 5 to do daycare pickup, I think I can probably handle it." But that was her saying to me, "I'm going to help you figure it out." And I did that. And that made a huge impact.
I do want to emphasize on the urgency, in particular today, on those sponsors and mentors who support professional growth and leadership strengths. I think it's really, really important. So with that, I would like to pivot into a broader question. So maybe share another story with us. And you've been doing so great. Love your stories, Julia. When were you able to sort of drive and model social change and advocacy as a leader?
Well, the example I'd love to share with you is something I'm involved in right now here at Holland Bloorview. We've got a social justice campaign called Dear Everybody. And it sprang from our new strategic plan, where we identified for ourselves in our mission, driving social change, leading and modeling social change. It was really all about wanting to change the world so that the children that we support here from a healthcare and a care and program perspective and service perspective would actually be able to live in a world that fully embraced people with disabilities. So Dear Everybody is a really important campaign, and this year we're focusing on representation. So we have great partners like the CBC, Rogers Media, who have signed on to our Dear Everybody agreement, committing to representation of people with disabilities on their networks and in all their programming. Roots has signed up. So Roots has a great campaign right now where they're showcasing children with disabilities in their advertising. That's a campaign I'm really, really proud of, that I think is making a difference in the lives of people with disabilities, young and old.
So, Julia, in today's context, what other social justice types of initiatives are you passionate about?
Oh, thank you so much for that question. Uh, right now, I have to say, like I think all of us, I am thinking a lot about the Black Lives Matter movement, about anti-Black and anti-Indigenous racism, and the role that I have to play as a leader of an organization to fight systemic racism. So I'm educating myself, and here at Holland Bloorview, we are doing work to educate ourselves as an organization and also put in place our action plan to fight racism in all its forms, to address inclusion and diversity and equity and accessibility. And I'm excited about what work that is going to bring to us and the change that we can make. And I think it's probably the most important thing we could be focusing on at this time.
Wow, these are all amazing and high impact causes that you're putting your substantial leadership towards. And we're all so grateful for it, Julia. I'd like to thank you again for taking the time to speak to us today and sharing some of these tremendous accomplishments and career and leadership insights. Thank you again, Julia.
It's my pleasure. It was great to talk to you.